Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, served by Applebee's.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. We're back on Radio Row. Big week in the Big Easy in New Orleans, Louisiana, counting down to the Super Bowl. Jay Croucher here with Matthew Berry. And we are in the presence of freshly minted NFL Awards royalty. Coach of the Year Kevin O'Connell joins us after the big win last night. Casey, how are you doing, and how'd you celebrate the win?
Yeah, it was, pretty unique circumstances having the greatest football coach of all time, my first coach in the National Football League, guy who drafted me 17 years ago, believe it or not, hand me the award and announce it like that. Surreal moment for me, but it's an awesome award because what is it? It's an organizational award. So many great people in our building. Starts with our owners, coaches, players. That's who I hope understands this award is all about, and it's special. It really is, and fuels the fire that much more to go back to work and try to be back here in Super Bowl week under different circumstances next year, hopefully.
Absolutely.
For sure. I think there's a lot of reasons why you won the award, KOC, but one of them obviously was the year that Sam Darnold had. Yep. And so this is a question you're going to get a lot. I'm sure you'll get at the Combine as well. But would you like Sam back next year? Talk to me about the relationship you had this year and what you see potentially for the future of him.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'm probably, most proud of this whole season. The team success is always the number one goal, but Sam's had a unique journey, and for him to commit to being a Minnesota Viking last year when he really could have signed anywhere, and believed that that was the best place for him, and it really was just unbelievable to be there with him every step of the way. It started in training camp. Started watching him just continuously grow with his teammates and watch these guys just gain confidence in him that translated into 1 win, 2 win, 3 wins, all the way to 14 wins, and didn't end the way that any of us wanted, but that doesn't take a single thing away from what Sam accomplished in this moment in his career. I'm so appreciative of Sam. But we find ourselves in a position where I believe he's the marquee quarterback if he were to make it to free agency. And he's earned the right, signed a 1-year contract with us, and it went as well as it did. So now there's probably a lot of teams that would love to have that kind of production from Sam Darnold in their offenses next year. We're still working through that dialogue, making the best decisions for what will ultimately be the best team we can build in 2025. Sam Darnold may or may not be a part of that, but that doesn't take away for 1 second what he meant to me in this organization.
Coach, you mentioned how it ended. I know you're talking to our friend Simpson Florio over there about how you watch back those last 2 games an ungodly amount of times. Yeah. Has that been productive as a process? What have you kind of learned from that?
Well, it's only productive because I've been through the torture of it enough now. But it's all part of it. Our jobs as coaches is to evaluate every layer of what took place in that game, and ultimately what happened, we got outplayed, we got outcoached, and we got to figure out how that happened, why that happened, and then build a team and coach in a way where we're prepared for that moment next year, because I do believe we'll be back. I do believe every year we hope to have a chance to get in that tournament and hopefully have a chance to compete for a world championship, but that doesn't take the sting out of what could have been, because I believed wholeheartedly in our team this year that we had everything in our team and what it would take to compete for a championship.
Coach, I've been doing this for a long time, and way back when Aaron Jones was a very young player with Green Bay, it would drive me crazy that Mike McCarthy would never use him in a full-time role. And so I started as a joke on my old podcast, Free Aaron Jones, #, Free Aaron Jones, and it sort of took a life on its own. It continues to this day. Aaron's written about it and everything like that. And I always say whenever this kid gets work, he produces. And I always say, this is what happens when you # Free Aaron Jones. Talk to me about Aaron's role this year. I know he's a free agent as well. I know obviously it's business, but would you like to have Aaron back as well? I guess I asked you a 2-part question. First, talk to me about Aaron this year and his role in your offense and what he meant to the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, over 1,500 yards all-purpose as the lead feature back, like you said, and that's what I envisioned for him. When I found out it would be possible to add a player of Aaron's caliber to our offense, it was how fast I could get to Green Bay to help him pack his stuff and come to Minnesota. But I think the biggest thing for me is what Aaron Jones brought that nobody really saw, and that's inside our building. For a player to come in and have the impact in that locker room that Aaron had. I think he's one of one as a human being in our league. I think he is still very capable of being that lead runner, that lead running back. He impacted our run game, our pass game. He can pass protect. He can do just about everything that we need our running back to do on our offense, and it impacted us greatly this year. So I would love to have Aaron back. But just like all of our free agents that had really good years, I imagine it's going to be a very competitive situation for Aaron's services, and it'll all be about the dialogue and making sure he knows how much we respect him and would love to have him back. But Aaron is one of my all-time favorites, and it didn't take long for him to establish himself within our organization or with me because of the type of player, but more importantly, the type of person he is.
I've interviewed him a few times. I have the same reaction. I don't know him the way you do, but he's one of those guys that has like a universal approval rating. Yep. Everyone that knows Aaron loves Aaron.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is across the whole league.
Yes.
Whether people have coached with him, played with him, you say Aaron Jones and normally somebody's smiling, talking about how great of a person that he is.
Yep. Coach, we'll ask you more about football in a second, but I want to talk to you about fashion. We've got a shot of your look, the KOC aesthetic from last night, where you were dressed all in black. The
Let's
man
go.
in black. I was watching the broadcast with a friend, and we kind of took a step back. It's like, wow, KOC looks very crisp. What went into that outfit? And was it your choice? Were you dressed by wardrobe, or how does that go?
No, I had nothing to do with that. What that was is actually my wife, Leah, who was there last night, unbelievable, and my 10-year-old son, Caden, about 2-3 weeks before the season ended, they kind of rolled the dice. We think Dad may be going to the NFL honors. So they went. I got a great company in Minnesota, the King Brothers, local company that kind of helped me out all season long. But I had nothing to do with the design, the execution, any of it. It actually had a cool little pattern on it, which my whole life when I went shopping, I would say, okay, put all the patterns over there, and then I would look at all these solids and things over here because I'm not the most exciting dresser in the world. In fact, somebody had me rate all of Justin Jefferson's game arrival attire this year, and I told them very honestly, I don't think I'm qualified in any way, shape, or form to help with this. But, that was the look. It was all my wife and my son kind of putting it together. I thought they did a great job. I felt cool. That's all that matters. You look cool, you play good, I guess.
You win an award and you're looking good. That's it's a good night in the O'Connell household.
That's
for
right.
sure. All right, let's get back to football for 1 second. I thought, obviously everyone knows Jefferson, everyone knows Jones, Darnold, Hawkinson. Great year from Jordan Addison as well. Is there somebody that we aren't seeing, that you're seeing every day in practice, that we'll see how the season shakes out, or the free agency shakes out and the team shakes out, that like, hey, once this kid gets some more reps, watch out?
Yeah, it's an easy one for me. Dallas Turner, our second first-round pick from a year ago. Dallas, as he progressed through the season, even he said it, he said things started to click for him. He just happened to play in the same position room as the two starters in the NFC and the Pro Bowl at the outside linebacker position. So as we progress forward, Dallas Turner is going to be a huge part of what we do. I can't wait to watch him have that year 1 to year 2 jump, the full offseason. Incredibly gifted as a pass rusher, incredible athlete, only going to grow in that Brian Flores scheme. We're very lucky to have Brian back.
I was just going to say,
as well.
Flo had an unbelievable year as well.
He really did. He really did.
Is there somebody on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I would say a name that stepped up at different times this year for us that I know people saw, and I'm expecting a huge year 4 from him is Jalen Naylor.
Sure.
That number 3 receiver position, especially early on when we didn't have T.J. Hawkinson. Jordan Addison was dealing with some ankle injuries early on in the season. We went 5-0 to start the season, and Jalen Naylor had a huge role in that. Finished with, I think, 6 or 7 touchdowns, made some big catches on third down, able to stay healthy the whole season, which was always really the only hurdle he needed to overcome. I think he's going to have a big year 4. And then I just mentioned him, T.J. Hawkinson with a full offseason. He's healthy. The journey he went on from that significant injury kind of towards the tail end of 2023, the fact that he battled his way back and still had the impact he did this year is huge. But TJ is going to be a huge foundational piece alongside Justin and Jordan, Jalen Naylor in year 4, and then we'll see what that running back position looks like. Maybe Aaron Jones, toting that rock as the featured back, as you like to free him.
Please keep freeing Aaron Jones.
But yeah, and then we've got to continue to build up that offensive line around Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill on the edges, and keep having the players we have keep growing and getting better. and trying to have the best team we can have.
Okay, well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. The betting market thought this Vikings team was going to win 7 games coming into the year. You go 14-3, an incredible season. So congratulations on the season. Congratulations on winning Coach of the Year, one of the great coaching jobs we've seen in the NFL. And congratulations on executing that crisp black outfit last night.
Yeah, that's right. And it all only happens because of I am here today with Sleep Number, and wanted to make sure I made that point of how important sleep is, and sports performance is everything. And I think Sleep Number and what those great folks do is huge. We got 86% of our team sleeping in Sleep Number beds. I would highly recommend it to you guys. Radio Row, kind of a grind of a week. Make sure you get back to your Sleep Number and get some good sleep.
Yeah, do you have a Sleep Number rep? Can you hook me up? Can you get me in touch with somebody?
I got somebody, I wouldn't say I could throw a football and hit them right now, because Lord knows that's why my career ended early, but I've got the people to talk to.
Well, thank you to Sleep Number for making you available to us. We really appreciate it. And again, congratulations on a great season and winning the award last night. This man won a lot of money. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm a KOC fan." This one actually put money where it was. He won a lot of money on you.
You were excited when you won the award. I would argue I was perhaps more excited. So thank you for winning the award. Thank you for the 3rd and 2 pass to Cam Akers against the Packers to win that game, which I think might have locked it up for you.
You know what? Dinner on you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You name the place, I'll be there.
Okay, appreciate it, KOC. We're going to hit our first break. When we come back, more great interviews coming up.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football Happy Hour on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. Lawrence Jackson, Matthew Berry, joined by NFL royalty, fantasy football royalty, one of the best in the business, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Tyreek, thanks, man, for stopping by. We heard you want to talk. What do you want to talk about?
Just love to talk, man. I just love to talk, man. I seen this nice-looking gentleman, nice-looking gentlemen. I was like, why not? Why not stop in and talk?
I appreciate that.
And I see that we have Applebee's cups, so why not talk?
There you go.
Yes,
Absolutely. We are served by Applebee's. We love them. All right. Well, so I know you were just over with my friends at Pro Football Talk.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things you told the guys was you said, correct me if I'm paraphrasing this wrong, but hey, I take full responsibility for my comments.
For sure.
I want to be back in Miami.
For sure, man. Just like I told those guys, obviously, like being a leader, like one of the guys on this team, I could have handled myself, totally different. But in the heat of the moment, I just said whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I take full responsibility of that, man. I love Miami. Those guys have taken great care of me. The organization has, and also the fans. Like, they've been real, nice to my family. So whenever we have events at the Soul Winner store, which is the shirt that I'm wearing, it's me and my wife's clothing brand. The fans show up. They show up. They show love. They're very appreciative, and I feel like I owe them a huge apology, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they are the ones who are, putting food on my table, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very thankful for those, man, people.
Yeah, so now that part's out the way, now that everybody know you going back to Miami, that's out the way. So now now what's next? How does the Dolphins, the offense, the defense, how do y'all get back to being that playoff caliber team?
Great question, man. It starts in the offseason, man. It starts in OTAs. It starts mini camp, training camp, building those crucial moments together, as a team, because, anybody can have a great roster, because we all know at the end of the year, it may not be the best team that wins the Super Bowl. It's all about being a good team and, how well teams play together, and like how guys, play for one another. So building those special moments in the off season, with one another, is important, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a little, because brotherhood and being together and playing as a team as one unit is so important, as you just referenced here.
Right.
So I'm curious. So you're doing some press. You're saying, hey, man, that was the heat of the moment. We've all had bad moments where we've said something we didn't mean, and everything like that.
Right.
Appreciate that. I know the fans appreciate that.
Right.
But talking about your teammates, have you reached out to them? Have you talked to them after that comment? Have you talked to Coach McDaniel? Talk to me about the relationship with your guys in the locker room.
Yeah. Guys in the locker room, relationship's still great. those guys pretty much have a pretty high respect level for myself.
Sure.
Because the way I command myself every day at work and even on the practice field, like I work my tail off each and every day, man, because I feel like that's the only way, you know, I'm gonna teach these, like some of these younger guys, you know, how to, you know, be a pro's pro at the end of the day, because that's what I learned whenever I was in Kansas City, you know, watching Travis Kelce, you know, watching guys like, you know, Justin Houston on the other side of the defense practicing his tail off. So I want to do the same thing, man, for my guys in Miami. And yes, I have talked to Coach McDaniel. It was a great conversation. I think that was something that, you know, I feel like we both needed. And I love the guy. And like I say, like, those guys have taken great care of me and my family, and I'm going to continue to work hard for this organization. I never want bad blood with any organization. Right. Love those guys to death, so that's where I stand.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate that.
Just going into 2025 season, right? So first off, man, I got the crazy receipts with Tua as soon as you signed with Miami. They checked out, right? Because you know
they checked out, right?
They checked out. Check out. You statistically had your best seasons with Tua.
They're saying, though.
Right. So let me ask you this about your quarterback.
Okay.
Have we seen the best of Tua yet? Because there's been times when he played, even times this past season when he came back from concussion, he was playing like a top 5 quarterback. So he's played at a top level already. Have we seen the best of him yet?
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. I feel like as years go on, players, you know, get better. And Tua, he's one of those guys that wants to continue to get better.
Yeah.
Tua, just like myself, you know, prides itself on, you know, accountability and playing hard for his guys, and also playing hard for his fan base.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people don't know that. And he's going to continue to get better, man, especially with, you know, Coach McDaniel as the OC and also Coach Frank as the calling plays also, man. So we have a real good coaching staff who holds everybody accountable, not just one guy, but everybody. Yes, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to continue to grow, continue to get better, and I'm gonna continue to get faster. So
you gonna continue to get faster. Hey.
I remember faster than faster than
old school, baby.
Old school. I remember back in the day.
You're still the fastest dude in the league.
Fastest in the league. I don't care who they draft or who who running in the 40-yard dash, man.
So, hey, Tyreek, it came out after the season that, you know, you played through a lot of injuries this year. You've always been one of the toughest guys in the NFL.
Right.
How's your health right now? How you feeling heading into next year? Heading into the offseason, I should say.
I'm pretty much fair, man, right now. Obviously, I got to have some things looked at, but I like to keep that private for myself. But,
fair.
I mean, my parents raised me not to make excuses or, you know, not whenever there's adversity, just be willing to face it. And that's probably how I've become who I am, man, because I'm a silent worker, and I battle my tail off no matter what I'm going through. And because football is a game of toughness at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
Like, we play 18 weeks plus the playoffs. Like, you're going to go through something. Like, we all, like, everybody's hurt. Like, everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be that guy on my team that's like, I don't feel like going this week. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy that's like, bring that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I may have something going on, but I'm not studying that.
Right. If you could play, if you could show that speed.
If I can show my speed, I'm out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When you said something, when you said I'm gonna continue to get faster, you know that look, that automatically made me think about.
I know what you're finna say.
I know you know. I know that you know. Is something actually gonna happen with that with you and Noah Lyles? It ain't even gotta be no 60 minutes, because I feel like each man trying to get the race that better suit them. Exactly. But I feel like it should I feel like you should get the race you run, because he the track runner. Noah Lyles is the track runner. But is it a realistic chance that you and Noah Lyles could race? Because whatever the case, whatever the result may be, however distance you go, it's gonna generate eyes and everything.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. Great question. Let's just keep a spade. Noah Lyles is scared.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's keep a spade. He's completely scared.
Is he scared of you in a 40?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
He should be.
Yeah.
He should be, man, because when you think of a smaller stature guy like myself, I have great turnover. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So my start is going to be tremendous versus his start. He's kind of a taller guy, so he doesn't
get going halfway.
So he
through the
needs
race.
time to build up his speed, you know. So I'm really hoping for us to, get a race going. My team obviously been talking to his team this whole entire offseason.
Okay.
They just told me to stay in shape, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, soon as our season was over, I started working out. Like, I started training on the track. I started lifting weights, doing what I got to do, pulling sleds, whatever I got to do, man. So I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
So
Dolphins are built on speed. All right, take yourself out of it.
Okay.
Who wins in a race on the Dolphins? Who's the fastest guy not named Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins?
I mean, I seen Devon get ran down week 18 against the Jets, so I got to go. I seen Waddle get ran down his rookie year, so I got to go Raheem Mostert, the older guys.
Okay.
Team older guy, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
Y'all might have to have a little two-man relay, the two older guys versus two younger guys. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep talking about this offense, though. It was an up and down year. I know not the season that Miami wanted, but
man.
Talk to me a little bit about one of the bright spots this year was the emergence of Jonnu Smith.
Ooh, talk
to me about
baby.
Jonnu.
Yeah.
So Jonnu, man, I love Jonnu to death, man. He came in, he worked his tail off, OTAs, training camp, and quite frank, he was one of the best teammates I probably ever had, man. Like a real humble guy, real quiet guy, and who just wants to win, Now there were situations where it's like tie game, and he's like this is what I love to see from players. In a crucial moment, Jonnu Smith was like, "Give me the ball, man. Got him the ball, won us the game against the Jets, man." So I love seeing that. I love being a part of that because it's like I'm blocking for this dude, and like he running angry behind me, and it's like, yo, this dude is a dog, bro. So, just like experiencing all of that, witnessing him going to his first Pro Bowl, it's just God's blessing, man. So.
It was fun to see.
Is there any players on the Dolphins that people may not know about that could have a jump going into 2025? Like, we know you, we know Waddle,
Yeah.
Like, who's a person they might not see? They might not see them coming.
Yeah, somebody that you see in practice. That
I can
you're
say
like,
offense or defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great question.
That you're like, if this kid gets, I see this in practice. If this kid gets more snaps, watch out.
Jalen Wright, bro.
Yeah, Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
Jalen Wright.
Running back, yeah.
Last year, we had so many running backs, though. We had Raheem, Devon, Jeff Wilson.
Yep.
Then Jalen Wright. So we had a long list of running backs, but Jalen Wright, the thing that stands out to me about him is he has great balance like A-Chain. He's big, he's physical, but that can run too, though.
Yes, he ran a 4.3.
Well, when I seen him run, I'm like, hold on. This dude way bigger than me. He running like that.
Right.
I'm like, dang, man. And he's shifty too, though. That's the crazy part about it. He got moves out the backfield, can catch out the backfield. So he kind of like your do-it-all back where, you don't got to take him out on third down. He can do a mix of everything. So I'm really looking forward to just watching him play and watching him grow as a player this year anyways, because he's special. And he's another guy who's humble, who's quiet, who comes into work and does what he has to do.
Yeah.
Tyreek, I got to – every time when you cover the NFL, you feel like, I've seen it all, right? And last year, there was something I'd never seen before. One of the craziest things, week one, you're driving to the stadium, minding your own business.
Man.
Right? And all of a sudden, no, hang on.
I'm with you,
No, right.
No,
But you did. Like, you get arrested, complete BS, gets figured out. Then you go out later that day and completely ball out. Over 100 yards.
That's the part we get.
That's the part that's amazing. Is that most people would have been completely shook by what a crazy experience, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, you put it out of your head and said, I got a job to do.
I gotta go and get 130 real quick.
I gotta go get 130.
Right, exactly. Just take me through once it gets cleared up until game day. Like, how do you get your mindset for something? That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
It was like an up and down, day anyways, you know what I'm saying, because my wife, she was supposed to be with me and she was like slow that day, and I'm like, I can't be late to the game. She's like, all right, go ahead.
I'm kind of the starting receiver out here.
I was like, I can't be late, so I go, you know what I'm saying, and then the whole spiel went out and I get arrested. Then in that moment, I kind of like blanked out. I went into a mode where like after I got arrested, I got into the locker room. I just sat in my locker. I didn't go warm up. I didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like still trying to catch up. Like what just happened? I'm like,
that would freak anyone out.
And then my wife called me. My mom called me. Like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. Then we prayed. Then I was like, I'm good, man. Because at the end of the day, I know, like, I got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? My job is to, you know, be there for my teammates, play for my teammates, and be that leader for those guys. And, like, even for my kids, too, though. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm setting the standard for my kids. Like, hey, you can be having a bad day or you can be going through whatever, man. Like, let's not
let the whole day.
Let's not deter us from what we really got going on. So
no, it's an important lesson. Like, you never know what life throws at you. All you can control is how you react to it, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly. You got to be strong in those moments, man. And I feel like I taught a lot of people how to be strong in those moments, man. So
there's no doubt.
There's never bad blood between me and the police. I got a lot of respect for the police, man. My uncle was a police. I'm working with those guys every day, so
you know,
no bad blood, man.
And I want to give you a compliment here, not to kiss your ass, but real talk. Like, I think a lot of people in that moment, in the post-game press conference, you obviously get asked about it.
Right.
And a lot of people could have gone a lot of different ways. And I thought you handled yourself so amazingly, saying, like, listen, you know, let's make a positive out of this, and I want to work with him. And as crazy and weird as stupid as that situation was, it feels like a lot of positive actually came out of it. As you mentioned, you've got you've now got a better relationship with them, and you're working with them.
Right. Because, like, you got to understand, that video probably that video probably got 50 million views.
Exactly.
And to stop, like, ongoing situations like that, because somebody else could have another situation like that. Like, I said, yes, I could have let my window down, so let's let our window down next time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen now, complain later. You learn that, man. So I learned something in the situation, man.
But also, I just think in terms of how you handled it, how you addressed the situation after the game, I thought really impressive and diffused what could have made it could have made a bad situation worse, and you made a bad situation better.
I could have been like, man, I ain't fooling with those cops.
Right, and you've got such a massive fan. No, but you do. You have a massive platform. You have a massive fan base, and so a responsibility comes with that. You know what I mean? And so. You know, anyway, it was just awesome to see. It was a great moment. I have a couple last questions for you. Tell me about this app called Currency.
Yes.
This sounds cool.
Yes. So me and my wife, we're actually building an app called Currency. It's not done yet. It's coming out in the App Store probably like in future weeks, where it introduces creators to brands, and it makes it all easier for both sides. So more information coming soon on that. I don't want to give too much on it yet because we're still building the brand. You know, adding new stuff to it weekly. But my wife is solely the creator of it. I'm just like the spokesperson of it, since I'm like the talker of the family.
Right.
You know, so she does all the hard labor behind it.
Well, it seems like you and your wife are really entrepreneurial. You also started the shirt company, right?
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
So Soul Runner is something that me and my friends used to call ourselves whenever we were in high school. So we didn't want to join any gang. So we were like, bro, we just gonna call ourselves the Soul Runners, bro. You know what I'm saying? Soul Runners. Reek, you a runner. You know what I'm saying? So why not call ourselves the Soul Runner? So once I got to the league, I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a clothing brand called Soul Runner. Created the brand. It's been great ever since. I've been designing clothes I wouldn't say my whole entire life, but ever since my college years, I've been designing clothes. And it's been fun, man. I can do all kind of concepts. And I feel like my clothes, each and every clothes, just like chefs do foods, and it's just like chefs do foods, and that specific food has like an inspiration behind it. I feel like my clothing, each piece has an inspiration behind it and why I design it. So, I really enjoy doing it. I love bringing the community together whenever we do events. We're looking to have Dan Marino, come by the store in Aventura soon. I think the Miami Dolphin fans will forgive me if we get him to come in. So,
that's awesome.
Love that, man.
Well, once you start playing next season, they'll forgive you.
Last question for you here before we let you go here. Sunday, who you rooting for? Who do you think wins?
Oh, I've been telling everybody the Kansas City Chiefs, baby. Yeah? Mr. Pat Riley, get ready to be a rich man.
Three-peat coming?
He's going to three-peat, and I'm going to trademark four-peat.
There you go. Smart. There you go. You and your wife. Fantasy football legend, NFL legend, Tyreek Hill. Pleasure to you, my friend.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What number was I in fantasy football?
This year? On a points per game basis?
Don't break my heart.
It was probably like 30s.
Yeah,
like
somewhere.
30?
Yeah,
This the thing, though.
Because you were
This
hurt.
the thing, though.
Because you were hurt.
This the thing. We talked about this before. You're going to be a value now because
Everybody drafted me high last year.
right.
You were
it might
top
be a couple
5 pick.
rounds
You're
back.
always a top 5 pick. You know that.
Yeah. We going to catch you on the value end now. But see, you said you're getting faster, so that's good.
Yeah, well, listen, this is our thing. Honestly, we were all saying stuff like, why aren't they getting Tyreek the ball? Some of the stuff you probably were asking yourself, why aren't they getting Tyreek the ball? Why aren't they scheming him open? What's going on? And we know Tua was hurt, which also, that's tough. And
tough, man.
But yes, you were last year you were wide receiver 29 in fantasy football. So
Dang, bro.
So make a prediction right now, Tyreek. Make a prediction right now. What are you next year? Your wide receiver what?
Top 3.
There you go.
3.
Easy,
man. So that's 1,700 yards.
For me, I really love meeting people in the grocery store that says, man, you saved my fantasy team. Thank you so much. I really love meeting people in the grocery store.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you're in a grocery store and you see Tyreek, go up and thank him.
I really enjoy that. That motivates me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
For Tyreek Hill, Matthew, and Lawrence.
Our great run of guests continues as Drew Brees and Gronk join us today on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Fellas, nothing like the smell of wings in the morning.
Can you smell it?
keep
I
you
got the buffalo section here. You get the barbecue section right there. Yeah, it smells good.
Gronk, we were joking, like you can't even come sit on the desk without being attacked through here. It's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. I mean, we are here at the Super Bowl, and I played in plenty of the Super Bowls, so I feel like wherever I go in this town right now, it's all football fans. It's not like I'm going to a big city like New York, Miami, where it's basically like Europe now in Miami, and I can walk around. Wherever you go, you got to expect it here at the Super Bowl.
But by the way, Gronk, you're also walking around New Orleans with Drew freaking Brees.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if ever there was a city not to walk around with Drew Brees in, it's this. I can't imagine either of you guys can get 3 minutes without somebody coming up and telling you their life story. Drew?
Yeah, well, but this is Gronk's first time like hanging out in New Orleans. Do you know that?
It is, really?
It really is. I mean, every time I came here, it was for a game. I stayed in a hotel, then showed up to the Caesars Dome, and then, just played the game and then left. So I never really experienced this city like I am this week.
We were talking just before we got on because wherever you guys go, you draw a crowd, you swarm. And I was just saying, Drew can probably put on a hat and sunglasses and maybe go unrecognizable. But I'm like, Gronk, you're 6'6", 6'7", something like that. You're so recognizable. But you're like, oh, I've got secrets.
I do got secrets. Yes, my best secret is when I go through airports because you got to fly a commercial. Those PJs are 100 times more than a commercial flight. So, I can't afford those private jets. I'm not like Tom Brady, so I got to wear a long sleeve. I got to wear a long sleeve windbreaker. I got a hat. I got to thank God for COVID. That was one positive that came out of it. I wear a huge mask, and it's totally normal to wear a mask at an airport. Huge mask, and then all you can see is my eyes. So I walk through airports totally fine, man. It's great. It's great to travel like that. You want to travel and be relaxed, not people coming up to you.
Until the TSA person looks at that ID and kind of double takes a few times and then just freaks out.
Yep, that happens like 1 out of every 5. Every 5 times when I go through TSA, they give it away. But then I hurry up and hustle out and then run to my gate.
What about you, Drew? I mean, especially here in New Orleans where you are royalty. Like, how do you move about?
I'm just a New Orleanian.
Okay.
I cruise around. I'm just part of the community, and I honestly I think most people just treat me as such. It's just, hey, I'm like the neighbor, I think everybody's very respectful. I mean, obviously, everyone's a huge Who Dat fan.
Yeah, of course.
But it's usually pretty chill.
We were having fun yesterday with Vernon Davis. We asked him, of course, who are the top 5 tight ends of all time. Gronk, he said you number 1. We thought it'd be more fun. Drew, who do you think are the top 5 tight ends of all time? And Gronk, who do you think are the top 5
Well, you better go
quarterbacks of all time?
with his number 1 wingman. I mean, I'm his bounty wingman right now. He's got to say I'm number 1 right now.
So I'm sitting next to this guy. He's absolutely in the top 5. Tony Gonzalez.
Sure.
Played against a bunch of times. Played with Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Went in the Hall
Back
of Fame
in San
last
Diego,
night. Very
yeah.
well deserved. Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham.
You guys had
5
a
years
lot of great
together in New
years.
Orleans. I wish we would have had all 11 or 12 because I think we would have been able to do some special things. The 5th, that's interesting. Who we got round? Oh, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Kelce.
I was just gonna say.
There's top 5.
Wow, really? Top 5 quarterbacks I got to go with? I never really done that list before.
Yeah, I'm sure
Drew Brees, here we go. Obviously, I'm putting my wingman in that category. Right. Then I got Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Joe Montana.
Okay.
There we go. That's a good list right there. I might be missing out on someone, but that's okay. It's only a list for 5.
Yeah,
it's only a list.
It's only a list for 5. All right. So yes, I'm sure both of you guys have been asked that question quite a bit. Here's Gronk. I enjoyed you on the Brady roast so much as well. What was your favorite joke from that?
I'll go with Nikki Glaser when she hit that joke like Gronk don't know money or whatever. Gronk don't know. No. How did it go again? Oh, it's early in the morning. I got to think about. What was it?
She was given. She was given.
Gronk only know real money.
Right.
Exactly. Like that.
She was making fun of Tom for the Bitcoin and
stuff.
Exactly.
And
even Gronk was like, "Me know that, not real money."
There we go. That's it right there. That's it right there.
It's a great joke.
I let you have that. Yeah. I let you have it right there.
Just teed it up for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nikki absolutely crushed there. I feel like I'm curious. Are you like me that the biggest regret of the Brady roast was that it happened before we found out about Belichick's girlfriend?
Actually, I knew about Belichick's girlfriend. It wasn't news yet, which was kind of like shocking to me. It was like a little news. It wasn't like national news. And that's why I had one of those jokes in there. I said a joke about it, but really no one got it. And it was about why Coach Belichick loved, referencing Foxborough High School because I said he was scouting his next girlfriend, there. And he was waiting for her, to graduate. I went that far. Yeah. If you rewatch it, I already brought it up. Far. It was along those lines. It was at the roast. I brought it up. It was in my script. I said it, and no one really truly got it. There was only some people, but if you go back, I put it in there.
Did you write? Did you write your own material?
I wrote that one actually. No. The writers wrote that one.
There you go.
I didn't write that one. I just said it. I didn't write it. They got me. They put it on the prompter. I just read it.
There you go.
Ron Burgundy.
Good deniability. Drew, would you ever do a roast like that when you saw that?
No.
It's a hard pass after watching that.
No,
a hard pass. I would say hard pass. You don't want.
I was gonna say you were there. I just watched it on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Hard pass.
It was vicious. Hall pass.
Yeah. Who would you want there though, Drew? Like.
Oh, I mean, you
like the 5 most important people to be there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be more than 5.
Yeah, that's the hard part of cracking it down.
I mean, when you start thinking about your career, then it spans not just 20 years, but you got to think about college, high school, all the people that helped you get to where you were, teammates along the way. I mean, that'd be a packed house as far as like the amount of gratitude I have for so many people that were part of that journey.
So if you guys can't tell, you guys are here with Bounty today. What do you got going on with them?
Well,
I don't know what gave it away.
Well, we got wings. And I don't know if you guys know this, but what do we know about football and wings?
Oh, well, you can't have football without wings.
Right.
You can't have wings without Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. And I'm actually the Bounty man. This is my 3rd year, and I picked Drew as my wingman this year because I needed someone to show me around the city. And who's better than Drew Brees? Won a Super Bowl here. He's the mayor of New Orleans. You were kind of just talking about it.
Of course.
He can't walk around anywhere, in his own city. So he also knows all the restaurant owners. So he's going to be bringing me out to some, some good restaurants. We're going to be ordering wings, some gumbo shrimp, or shrimp gumbo or whatever it's called, all the spices as well here in New Orleans. So, Drew, my wingman, going to be showing me around, and I appreciate him, man. It's been going really good in this city. I've never been out in this city. I've always just show up, like I said earlier, and then I just go to the games, I never really experienced this place, and so far it's been great. What I really love about New Orleans so far is the history here, man. Like, it's wherever you go, you feel like you're in a movie from like the 1890s, and it feels cool.
It's an incredible city, a great history. I can't imagine the last time you had to pay for a meal here, Drew. I can imagine. So you guys are going to go eat very well. We appreciate you guys. You guys are, in addition to NFL legends, you're also fantasy football legends. So we appreciate. I've had both of you guys on many teams. Thank you for all the championships. I'm sure you get thanked for that as well throughout when you're walking around. But I know you guys have a lot of. I'm being told in my ear, you've got 8 million other people. And 8 million.
We're making the rounds.
Yeah, you are.
Glad you came
so,
first.
Rob Gronkowski, Drew Brees, fantasy football and NFL royalty. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
You got it, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy these wings.
All right, our great guests continue. And listen, the last time I talked to both these guys, they were getting ready to go into the NFL at the NFL Combine. Now they're established stars in Seattle.
Yes, they are.
Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Devon Witherspoon. What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Good,
Thanks
man.
for having us on.
Love talking to you guys. Go ahead, Matthew.
I will say this. So, as you know,
Bounty.
All right. Austin Ekeler, that's my guy.
Had to crash. All you boys
No.
out here.
It's like you teleported.
Bounty
Come on.
team.
There you
Bounty
go.
team. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm a Commanders fan, so love me some Austin Ekeler there as well. But love both of you guys as well. I'll say so did Connor Rogers. Connor Rogers was a fan before it was cool. He does all the scouting. He does all the draft prep in it. He said JSN is his #1 wide receiver coming out that year. And I know you had Witherspoon very, very high on your list.
Top 10 player all day long.
All day long.
You have a good eye, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
There you go.
Let's jump right into it. Yeah.
But I have to talk about the most important thing here, I think, for our show. So for our show, we have a fantasy football league, right? It's called the League of Assholes because they're all assholes.
Right.
You understand?
It really is.
You understand? And I'm the host. They're all coming after me.
Yeah, asshole number one.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Here.
They're all coming after me. And so I put together a hell of a team that included Jaxon Smith-Njigba, by the way. Look at this team, by the way. And this team, JSN, won the championship this
Here
year.
we go.
Thank you very
We
much.
champs, baby.
Look
All
at this.
right,
Look
You
at this
already
team.
know.
The
oh,
MVP,
yeah,
Josh
Terry
Allen.
McLaurin,
Okay.
Mike Evans, Daniels. Oh, yeah, that's a team right there. That's a team right there.
Quarterback to the
Yeah.
receivers.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick
Oh, yeah.
Henry. Oh,
Come
yeah.
on.
Okay.
Come on,
You
there's a
got-
team.
Well
But
done. Well
thank
done.
you very much.
Yes,
I
sir.
believed in you. None of these other assholes did. I'm
That's
like,
good.
I'm taking JSN. I want him on my team. This is the breakout year. And it happened. You tied the Seattle franchise record for most receptions in a single season. You had 163 receptions. By the way, that's the most in Seattle's in the Seattle Seahawks franchise by a Seattle wide receiver in the first 2 seasons. And when you think about some of the great wide receivers that have come through Seattle, that's unbelievable. You were top 10 among all wide receivers in the NFL in receptions and receiving yards this year. What clicked for you in year 2, JSN?
Just time, man. Just timing. Just being able to learn from that first year, go in the offseason, know what I have to work on, having a second year with Geno, obviously another year with DK Metcalf, on the side, and Tyler Lockett. I mean, I think it was just destined. I just knew I just had to stay focused and my time is going to come. And, I was ready for it. And, I think, there's a lot of stuff to still improve on. And, I'll be ready for this next year. It'll be even better.
Now, Devon, what we love about you is you get to shut these guys down and really shut down all the numbers, the fantasy talk, everything like that. What was it like playing in Mike Macdonald's system after you guys obviously have a legend in the game in Pete Carroll, but a guy like Macdonald that's so established for a young age? What was that transition like for a defensive guy like you?
I think the transition was easy when he came over here to Seattle because, he made it clear point, when he first got in the building, how it's going to be and how he's going to run the defense. So the transition was very easy. I think the best thing about Coach McDonald's is how you utilize his players. He utilized every player in a very unique way. So he always try to put you in the best position on the field. And it's if you're good at one thing, then he's going to put you right there. And if you're not so good at one thing, he kind of try to stay away from it. But the way he knows his players and knows how to get them involved in the game, I think is out of his mind.
That's what's different about you. When you watch the tape with you, you're not just a slot corner, you're not just an outside corner. I feel like you even get looks at all over the defensive backfield and even up to the line of scrimmage. Is there something you love about that freedom to make plays, run around and make plays?
Yeah, I love the freedom. He allows me to be myself, and also it comes with freedom, but it's really him who's really doing it. So it's like I said, he knows his players down to the T, so he knows exactly where you need to be on certain parts of the field.
When you guys face off in practice, who wins?
Back and forth,
back and
man.
forth, back and forth.
It better be back and forth,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But with this guy, I know, I could take my game to the next level, and it's awesome to have him and compete with him every single day, and the best is yet, to come, really.
Yeah, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? He always going to push me to be better in practice and stuff like that. DK as well and Tyler. So it's going against him every day. It's when you get in the game, it's kind of easy because I get every variation of all receivers in practice. So it's not really hard to play in the game.
Jaxon, we've been asking some of the LSU guys this, and it applies for you as well. What is going on at Ohio State with these wide receivers? Every single year, whether it's a first rounder, we're going to have a Mecca, obviously, this year. Marv last year, obviously you. It's just on and on and on. What is it about
Garrett,
that program?
Chris, Terry had a huge year.
Yeah, it's insane. And we'll be talking about Jeremiah in the draft before we know it.
We talking about him right now.
Yeah, I mean, he could play in the NFL
right
today.
Now,
right?
He's ready right now.
Yeah. What is it about the program that you're landing the top wide receiver talent and developing the top wide receiver talent?
Man, that room is just very special to be in. And there's a very, very, very high standard. And if you don't live up to that, you're not going to make it there. And when Coach Hartline brings in young kids that, really admire and really want to be, in those shoes and will do whatever. And, you put us together and, we're all hard workers, competitive, love ball. Only good things come out of that. And, like I said, though, the standard is there and you got to live up to it. And, Hartline and Coach Dave finds the guys that, will live up to it.
Jaxon, I interviewed you at the NFLPA Rookie Premiere, and you told me something that I've never forgotten. And I didn't know this is a thing at Ohio State, but I've remembered and I've repeated it to a bunch of my friends and my kids as well. You told me, pressure is a privilege. And I love that phrase. I love that thinking, pressure is a privilege. Talk to me a little bit about what that statement means to both of you guys as well.
To me, there's a stage that you want to be at. If you don't have any pressure on you, what are you doing? You're not doing the right thing. You want to be in those moments. That's what you work hard for. And when it's time, it's really just a mindset thing. Like just thinking positive and knowing that pressure is a privilege. Like without it, I don't know where we would be. Nothing would matter.
Well, speaking of pressure, 2 teams on Sunday going to be under a lot of pressure as well. Bright lights, Super Bowl, all that. I'm curious, how do you guys see this playing out? Who do you think wins? I'll start with you, Devon.
Well, I'm going for my teammate. I played with college, Sidney Brown, so I'm rocking with the Philly.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Eagles. But it's going to be a good game. So it's like I think it's going to come down to the very last minute. A play here, a play there, maybe a penalty there, a turnover here. I just think it's going to come down to one significant play that's going to really change that game.
What about you, Jaxon?
For me, it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
It really is.
Not that I'm betting. I don't do no betting, but
understood.
Make that clear.
But if I think I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes. Been here before. I just think he knows how to win. But I think it'll be a good game. I think if Saquon Barkley really, really gets going, I think Eagles could pull it out. But if I had to choose, I'm picking Kansas City.
Last one for me. You guys are here in partnership with Bounty. Talk to me about your wingman. Talk to me about your deal here with Bounty.
You just can't have football without wings.
Can't have wings without Bounty. You know what I'm saying? So.
Lockstep. It's almost like they see each other every day in practice.
They got it down to a science.
Off the field as well. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Devon Witherspoon. Love watching your guys' success in the league. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Back at Radio Row at the Super Bowl on Fantasy Football Happy Hour, Lawrence Jackson, Matthew Berry, and Rashod Bateman, who this year set career highs in targets, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. Rashod, congratulations on a great season. Yes, I'm curious, what clicked for you this year that hadn't previously?
I would just say opportunity and health. Just being able to be on the field and stay healthy and be out on the field and get those reps in with Lamar and get those reps in the offensive system and being healthy. It paid off for me.
Yeah, I'm really glad I'm really glad the Ravens took the opportunity to kind of like lock you up for a little bit longer, so you could be able to show why they drafted you in the first round. So, and I think there's even more meat on the bone. We just saw your numbers from this year. I think there's more meat on the bone for that. How do you take the game to the next level to be that 1,100-yard receiver?
I would definitely say, man, just keep doing what I'm doing. It's kind of a game with me and a game with my my team.
Yes.
Being able to be there and they see what I've done now and then hopefully my targets increase. So I can show them more what I can do. For me, just being able to stay dialed in and stay focused and being healthy. Since I was hurt those first 2 years, my health is very important. So for me, I just learned, man, just be out on the field. If I'm out on the field, I'll make plays. So, just being able to take care of my body.
I'm glad you brought up the health because, again, so much expectations for you coming into the league, first-round pick, and it's been a struggle getting on the field, right? Finally this year you were healthy, and we always say targets are earned in this league, right? 72 targets this year as well. Is there anything different that you did this year? Is there anything different you're going to do in this offseason to make sure that you can be out on the field?
I would just say continue to train. I try to train really hard and just continue to prepare my body for, that long game season and prepare for camp. I take my training very seriously, and I think that's the only thing that can prepare me for the season. Just being able to go in and be 100% ready, being 100% mentally ready. It's a lot that goes into it, but I'm definitely looking forward to this next season.
Right on. You guys' best player, y'all leader, Lamar Jackson, who has a lot of trust in you as he should. Talk about what makes him so special, and should he have won that MVP last night? Yeah, Mr. Bateman.
What part you want to start with first?
Should he have won the MVP last night, Mr. Bateman?
He was robbed. Yeah. He was robbed.
What do you think about? He got a 4th place vote for MVP. What do you think about that?
I mean, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I mean, it's definitely more behind the scenes of what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's just the world we live in, because it's night and day.
Right.
Lamar was All-Pro and he doesn't win MVP. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen wasn't All-Pro and he doesn't win MVP.
Well, Josh Allen was 2nd team All-Pro. Lamar was 1st team All-Pro.
And he hadn't beaten every category, so it's like, bro, what are we looking at?
Yeah.
Like, even if he was my teammate or he wasn't my teammate, it's like, bro, what are we looking at? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, respect to Josh. We all know he's an amazing player.
Yes,
we know that, but I mean, when you're watching the game and you look at the numbers, it's like, what are we valuing to make these, give the right people these accolades and make it feel, earned and deserved? Right now, it's just, handed out everywhere. So
it is a weird one that he's the 1st team All-Pro. How is he not the MVP? It is a weird one. Regardless of anything, we all love Josh. He's great.
Yes.
But Lamar's numbers speaks for themselves, and it is definitely a weird one. What was it? But I want to move into this. I think one of the reasons why Lamar had so much success beyond just because he's Lamar, right? And he's just a special player. But for you, for Derek, for Zay, for everyone on the team, is this Todd Monken offense. Talk to me about the going from year 1 to year 2, and then what you're looking for year 3 in this offense.
Todd Monken definitely is a very key component to what we're doing. Obviously, everybody knows that in the way he coaches, demanding and making sure that we're on top of our details, and that's paid off for us, honestly. Lamar has done a great job of taking that message and giving it to the whole team. Derek, the defensive guys, I think we just had a good team of leaders. The veterans did a good job of stepping up and leading when they should, and I feel like everybody wanted to win. So hopefully we get those same guys back with that same motive, and we can go back and chase it.
Right. And so we know about you. We know about Zay, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, of course, Derrick Henry, Lamar. Who's a player on your team that people kind of don't know as much about that you could see taking a step up on that roster next season?
I mean, I feel like people see they see splashes of him, but Justice Hill.
Justice Hill,
Justice Hill is he's a key component to our team. He was a key component to why we had as much success as we did. He's a key component to why Lamar has success. Derrick has success. So I want to see what he do. Justice gets better every year, and that's why the Ravens keep bringing him back every time they get. So I'm looking forward to seeing Justice play again.
Yeah. He's also a great contrast to Derek. I mean, that's the thing. You're sitting there, you're trying to tackle Derek, and all of a sudden here comes Justice Hill running by you.
Yeah, you got the power, you got the speed. He's up out of there. So he's definitely a good asset for us.
Yeah. Rashod, I'm guessing you don't, but we're a fantasy football show. By the way, you're on my Dynasty fantasy team. Thank you very much.
Well,
great start. Awesome.
Appreciate them 9 touchdowns.
9 touchdowns, exactly. Thank you very much.
So how does that even? I don't even know how that works. So I'm guessing that's a lot of points.
One day, several years from now, after your football career is done, you might get into it.
Okay.
A lot of retired football players get into it.
Your kids will get into it down the road, whatever. But very simply, if you're on my fantasy team, and you score a touchdown in a game, I get 6 points for my fantasy team. So how well players do statistically in their real life NFL games is how well they do for the fantasy teams. It's literally that simple.
Got you.
So right, you score a touchdown, I get 6 points, right?
So what's the highest point you can get? Is the touchdown like the highest 6 point?
Yeah, you get points for receptions and yards. So like if you went, 5 for 100, that'd be like 15 points plus a touchdown. Yeah. That's 21 points.
So what
the Giants game,
right. Yeah, so
okay.
we would say Rashod Bateman is one of those boom players because you was the big play guy for the Ravens this year,
especially down the stretch.
Yeah. So it was like if you start Rashod Bateman, man, I hope he get that 70-yard touchdown. I hope he did, because we know Zay gonna get the ball a lot of times at the line of scrimmage, near the line of scrimmage, because they want to make a play. We know when y'all want to go down the field, we looking for number 7.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Do your friends hit you up? Do you hear about fantasy football? Do like your friends or your family ever hit you up like, I'm going to draft, anything like that?
Yeah, nah. Everybody too scared to really even talk to me about it.
They
don't want me to get mad. They don't want to get me in trouble. So I respect it. So they don't even ask me nothing about it. I don't even got no idea how it works, honestly.
Better off right now.
Yeah,
you are better
right
off.
now.
Rashod, we got a big game on Sunday, obviously.
Yes, sir.
And I think wide receivers are going to play a big part of this, right? You got AJ and Devontae on one side. You got Xavier, you got Hop, Juju.
A lot of good players in this game.
A lot of great players, a lot of great wide receivers in this game. How do you see this playing out?
I think that we're going to see who has to run the ball the best, honestly. I think they both know that they can throw it. And for Saquon, I feel like they're going to try to get the run game going, or they want to for sure. So I think both of them, it's gonna be a good game because they both can run it, they both can pass it. So everybody say defense wins championships, so it's gonna be about which defense can step up and get a 3 and out, get the offense off the field and prevent people from putting up points. So I don't know, man.
Because y'all play both teams.
You play both teams, so you've seen these guys.
Yeah, honestly, I think if Philly comes and do what Philly do and play the absolute best, I think Philly win the game. But if you don't do what you need to do, then
getting away from what they do,
or if you leave it up into other people's hands, then
because it does feel like Mahomes, similar to Lamar, is just one of those guys that last 2 minutes of the game, just get on my shoulders. I'm driving you down, and I'm winning this game.
And we all know that, and they all are aware of that. So it's like not even, you can't put a player of that caliber in that type of, don't give him a chance,
right?
Because it can be done. He's proven it, and he'll do it again. So don't let him do it on this moment. So it's just better to, try to come out and take care of business early.
Yeah. Last question for you here. Tough playoff loss for you guys. Really, really tough. Have you had a chance to talk to Mark? I thought his social post was really well written and heartfelt and everything like that. Obviously, not the game he wanted. Have you had a chance to talk to him at all?
Man, I reached out to Mark right after the game, and I told him, bro, it's not on you.
Right.
Keep being you.
Right.
Because it kind of sucks that our fan base did what they did, and the world did what he did, because Mark is literally if he retires today, he'll be the Ravens' all-time best receiver.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's put some respect on this name and value what this guy, bring to our team. And I can tell you right now, that's not the only reason why we lost that game. There's so many other factors that should have been done. And as an organization, we put Mark in that position. You know what I'm saying? So on our behalf, we got to go out and perform better and be able to not be in that position. But and I've been in his shoes of the world crashing down on you and pooping on you, I guess. But Mark gonna be all right. He's a tough individual. He's hard on himself, so I know he'll bounce back from that.
And the other thing is if without him, you're probably not even in that game. He's such a big integral part of your team.
And it's kind of crazy that the world don't see it like that. But I get it. It's an important game. It's a big time game.
Because it's a lot of catches that he made when he done saved the Ravens.
Yeah. So it's bro, let's be real sometimes about the game of football and I guess life. So
no game comes down to one play.
Yeah.
Right?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Exactly. Rashod, it was awesome to see you healthy this year.
Thank
awesome
you, man.
to see you do what we knew you could do. And everything like that. Continued success to you and the Ravens. He's a crazy Ravens fan. So.
Well,
so
we'll build on that. We'll be back. You know we'll be back.
I already know that.
I apologize for the high blood pressure.
Yeah, I actually do take high blood pressure pills.
That I believe.
Plenty enough. I actually do. I took it this morning. No.
Okay.
No.
Just making sure.
No.
But anyway, continued success to you, Rashod. Thanks so much for stopping by.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Back on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, Jay Croucher, Matthew Berry, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not going to be an objective interview. There's going to be no journalism here whatsoever as well, because as you guys know, hail the Commanders, hail victory. This is my team since I was 5 years old. Austin Ekeler, Brian Robinson in the house. Here we go. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Proud Fantasy Life investor, Austin Ekeler, by the way.
That's
I
right.
always refer to you.
That's right. How are we doing?
We're doing good. Life is good.
All right.
We have a partnership now with NBC Sports, by the way, so things are going very, very
That's
well.
what I love to hear.
Yeah. So
I'm worried about this interview, to be honest, because we've got the world's biggest Austin Ekeler fan and world's biggest Commanders fan, big B-Rob fan as well. So it's trouble.
And Austin will back me up on this as well, because you have to understand, Austin Ekeler, massive fantasy football player himself, obviously a huge fan to the community. He's been a fantasy football superstar for many, many years. I'm in business with him.
Correct.
And then he goes to my favorite team.
Correct.
And I have your cell, and I never hit you up, right? I do not.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that because I know a lot of people did. So I appreciate you giving me the space. We know we always connect, especially down around this time. So no, it's great to have all these things kind of synergized together.
Yeah, and Brian, we talked to you last year as well. Congratulations, by the way, just on an amazing season. I think so many people, the preseason win total for the Commanders was 6.5. That's what Vegas thought the Commanders were going to do. Obviously, we exceeded that far. I used the week. You're damn right.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
Hey, you're part of the culture.
Matthew Barrett plays left guard for the Commanders.
But I feel like while outside people didn't believe, you guys internally did. Talk to me about the culture DQ set and just when you guys knew, hey, we've got something special here. Austin, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, first off, I understand narratives and things like that. It's very reactive, right? You're reacting to what has been happening in the past. And so what we did when we came in this year, we had obviously new ownership, new coaches. I think we had 60 new players on our 90-man roster. And so that set us up for kind of a whole makeover of our team. And then you put Dan Quinn and his philosophies around brotherhood, around the standard, around upholding that in that mix with some veteran players, a stud rookie quarterback, and some great coaching staff around. And it put us in a recipe to have the season that we had. And so we internally were believing in each other, of building, one at a time. We don't look past 1 week, right? It's always live in the battle that you're in, right? We just, whether it's practice, preseason, a game, it's just that week is the thing that matters most. And for us, what we were able to do was continue to raise the bar of what's expected from us from an outside looking in perspective, because we focused on what we were supposed to and got it done week in and week out.
Yep.
Brian, I'm curious from your perspective, because you were there during some of the lean years as well, and then you got to be part of this turnaround as well. What's it been like just in the city as well, just seeing, from the old ownership to the new ownership and, this year versus previous seasons?
It's definitely been a major flip. The city has changed tremendously. They didn't even want to support, the logo 2 years ago, and now we selling out Commanders gear, all around the city, and all the fans just buying out the season tickets and showing back up for us. And I think that's the biggest thing that's most exciting, is just seeing all of the real fans, come back out and show their true excitement and passion for this team. For us to be able to bring that back out of them, it's a great feeling.
Austin, everyone talks about Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive mind. Is there anything specific that Cliff does with this offense that's particularly appealing to you?
The dude is crazy passionate.
Okay.
Crazy. He almost reminds me of myself a little bit, where if it doesn't, he's visibly irritated if something doesn't go right, because he cares so much.
Yep.
He wants it for us so much, and he'll be the first one to tell you if he messes it up, and also he won't take the credit. He'll be like, you guys balled out, but we know, hey Cliff, you're a part of this as well. And so to have someone like him that's so into it, and also have players around him that he can use, like us in the backfield, we're out there a lot at the same time, or if it's him, me, or it's Jaden, we have receivers outside that can make plays. We brought in Zach Ertz this year that did well for us. When you have consistency around an offensive coordinator that's that passionate, it turns out to be a great time. What's up? We got some.
Let's go. Bombing us. Come on, get over.
We right here.
Absolutely.
The best right here, man. Big Will, what's up, bro? Good, bro? How you doing, bro? Good, bro.
You're good. We're good, man. We're good.
Good to see you, boy.
Yeah, man. So Cliff has been a great addition. I'm glad he's coming back too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit, Brian, about some of that RPO and also being a running back with a quarterback like Jaden, who's such a threat that the defense has to pay attention to. And I felt like it opened up a lot of lanes for both of you guys in this offense.
Yeah, the RPO, you never know. So the defense definitely got to pay attention to the running back and the quarterback. And with Jay being as dynamic as a runner, it definitely helps us, because they're definitely going to key on him. They're going to bite on his action, and that's all we need for us to just get in a little space and go out and do what we need to do, and vice versa for him. If we're becoming a threat with the running game, they're going to bite on our action, and that's going to allow him to get out in open space and use his legs and go be fast.
Yep. Every week it felt like you guys everything was coming down to the last play, cardiac commanders. You have the Hail Mary against the Bears. Jaden leads you down the field, the Eagles, the second game. Does that kind of become a self-fulfilling prophecy where you feel like it's just going to happen in those moments, that you have a lot more confidence at the end of fourth quarters?
We call them winning time moments. Yeah. That's what we call it. That's our winning time moment. And by saying that, we say that's the moment in the game where, we've prepared to win. Based off of, how the week looked, the process looked, preparation, we prepare for those winning time moments. And when it shows up in a game like that, we got to go and execute and make it happen.
Yeah, and I'll say this on that too, because you see the NFL, it's close. There's a lot of close games in the NFL, and that's what makes it so exciting, because it could go either way. But you'll see the consistent teams and the teams that continue to win and continue to be there at the end are the ones that can find a way to win in those times. The Chiefs are, I think, the best at it right now. Look at their season; they weren't blowing people out. A couple of them here and there, but for the most part, they're just winning the games. And now look at them; they're paying for their third in a row. So, we're kind of putting that formula together as well, those winning time moments, and find a way to get it done.
All right, let's talk about Sunday real quickly. Tough loss. Wish you guys were here. I actually went to that game. This is how brave I was. I went to that game in person wearing Commanders gear. I got yelled at a few times. That's all right. That's all right. Got to show your pride. Who do we think wins, and who do we want to win?
I want Saquon Barkley to win.
Okay.
But no one else to win.
Could both teams lose? I know.
Man, look. I just came from the AFC West.
Yeah.
When I was dealing with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And so they own that for the last decade or so. And now I'm in a new conference, and now we're dealing with the Eagles, and so we played them 3 times this year. So good for them. Look, respect is due there. Both teams earn their way there, and so they get that. But I still am wishing we were in there. So I really don't care.
Okay. What do you think, Brian?
So I lost to Philly, so I really don't want to see them celebrate again right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
I can't hate on, Kansas City's legacy. They've been doing something great. I'm going with Kansas City, man.
Okay.
Just because,
put faith in them.
I am too. I don't want a division rival winning a Super Bowl. No, screw Philly. I'm sorry.
The only thing that I could defend them on is if they win, we would have technically lost to the best team.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But
and respect to Saquon. I mean, everyone loves Saquon, for sure.
You guys are here courtesy of Bounty. Can you tell us about your partnership with them?
Absolutely. You can't have football. You probably heard it. I came in here and crashed the Bounty sheet earlier.
I know.
You can't have football without wings.
I'll do it. You can't have football without wings. You can't have wings without Bounty.
You guys
I know it by now.
But shout out to Bounty. I mean, I've been using them for years, and so it's just a great partnership to have them out here and represent them on Radio Row. So it's been great.
Listen, I have kids. We have a lot of Bounty in my house, right?
Sure.
You got to have it.
For sure.
Yeah, listen, guys, it was an amazing season. As a Commanders fan, literally the best year of my life, right? The best year of my life.
The great fan voice.
I'm wearing.
Shut up about it all season.
I wore 8 on a bunch of Mondays. I wore 5 on a bunch of Mondays. I wore 17 on a bunch of Mondays. And I've worn Austin's number over the years many times as well. So
we appreciate it. We appreciate the support. And hey, look, we're still salty. We know it was a good year as far as, from the outside perspective, but we still know we had room to grow, and so we're looking forward to get back to work and making it another one next year.
What do you want to see, real last question for you, what do you want to see the Commanders do in the draft and free agency? Because it's a great team, but there's obviously some holes. If Adam Peters comes to you and says, Austin, B-Rob, what do we need to do in the draft? What are you hoping for?
Who's best available? I mean, get us some playmakers.
Yeah.
Get us some guys that are willing to come in and join our culture. Like, that's something that's always been big for me. Like, there's a lot of talented guys, but get a guy that also can mesh with what we're trying to do from a culture standpoint, because that helps elevate your gameplay at whatever position you're at. There's positions, you could debate what we need, things like that. But again, as long as you're a good locker room guy, I think we're going to bring the best out of you and put you in a position where, hey, we're still going to win games.
I love it. Hail the Commanders, hail victory. Brian Robinson, Austin Ekeler, let's go. Back on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, Lawrence Jackson, Matthew Berry, Fantasy Football Happy Hour with fantasy football legend Brian Westbrook. No player in the NFL has more yards from scrimmage for the Eagles than Brian Westbrook. How are you, my friend? We just saw all your stats right there. I'm gonna start with this because I've interviewed before and I know this answer, but I want to do this for this audience as well. You're playing Dallas, Week 15, breakaway. You can score.
Yeah.
You take the knee to make sure that the Eagles win. How often does that play come up?
It comes up way more often than I thought it would ever, right? And so that's one of those plays where you look back and you say, what are you famous for, right? And it feels like that's the reason that I'm famous, right? Because you didn't score. And now you see a lot of the guys are doing it now. So it's actually
You're a trendsetter.
Cool. A trendsetter, that's right. There are times where I say, I should have just scored a doggone touchdown. Just scored a touchdown and get in the end zone. But listen, it's one of those things. It's a great play. It's painful for your fantasy owners, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But it might work if they was going against you.
Well, that's it. So here's the thing. So I hear a lot of people, they come to me and say, listen, you made my fantasy year by, doing all the great things. And some say, you ruined it because of that one play.
Yeah. Well,
I wrote about this. I wrote a book called Fantasy Life, and I wrote about this story. I think I may have told you this before when I met you before. But I met one guy. He's a casino owner, a bunch of Vegas casino owners. $100,000 buy-in, and he was telling me, I was like, "What's the worst beat you've ever had?" And he says, "I'm down 5. My opponent's done. I've got Brian Westbrook back. It's semifinals.
I owe him.
And I'm like, and it's just like, and I'm like, I got this. You take the knee, and he goes, that knee cost me $600,000.
See, now here's a question. This is what I ask people all the time.
Yeah.
I won you some money. Do I get a cut of that?
Yeah.
I don't get. I lost you some money. I get blamed. I know that. Right?
No, you should get a cut. Absolutely.
You should get a cut. Now, you was a versatile running back, able to do it in between the tackles, outside the tackles, and in the receiving game. Andy Reid, who you played for much of your career, was instrumental in using you at your best. With him. We all love Andy Reid, right? He's a great character guy. What's one of the more lighthearted moments you had with him during your time there in Philly?
Andy, just an amazing coach. The favorite moment, that I had with Andy, I think back, and it actually came at a time of real trial for him when his son passed away, right?
Yeah.
Sure. And this just shows you the type of man that he is. I'm broken up. I watched his kids grow up from when I was at Villanova. Right. So I know them very well. I knew them very well. I'm at the funeral. Andy's standing next to the casket, and I'm walking up to Andy. I'm broken. And I'm like, Coach, what can I do for you? How are you feeling, you and the family? And the first thing that Andy Reid asked me at his son's funeral, at St. How can I help you? What's the things that I can do to help you go wherever you want in your career? That's the type of man that Andy Reid is. And so when you listen to all the players that talk about Andy and all that love them, they all talk about him as a father figure, someone that you respect, someone that always gets the most out of you. And as an athlete, that's what you really want. You want someone that's going to be in front of you that says, I can help you unlock what you truly should be, your true potential. Andy Reid has done that for a lot of players.
As long as we're talking about Coach Reid, I want to ask you one more question on him. One stat that I've been giving out this week is that in the Patrick Mahomes era, in the playoffs, when Andy Reid has more than 1 week to prepare, Andy Reid off of a bye. It's like death taxes and Andy Reid off of a bye.
Right.
But even in the Mahomes playoff era, he's only lost once, and that was Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, right? But throughout his career, both in Philly and Kansas City, Andy Reid off of a bye is sort of like one of those givens. What is it about that extra week that Andy does in practice?
Well, self-scouting. Not all the coaches self-scout, so it's not much different. But at some point, you got to sit down and take an honest look at yourself and say, listen, this is working, and here's the reasons why. Yeah. He can diagnose why these things are working. And the same thing with things that are not working. Here's the reason why these things are not working, and we need to change these things. Some coaches are just resistant to that, right? They're resistant to change, resistant to looking themselves in the mirror and saying, I need to do something different. Andy Reid has never felt that way. He said, if it's not working, we're scrapping it, we're doing something different. Or maybe the concept works, we need to get to it a different way. He's just a great game plan type of coach. I listened to Andy Reid when I was there, and I said, what are you going to do when Michael Vick comes? He said, Michael Vick had been there for maybe a week. He said, I have a whole playbook worth of stuff for Michael Vick. I've already diagrammed these plays all summer long. That's what I've been doing, waiting for Michael Vick or the opportunity to coach somebody like Michael Vick. He's been waiting for a moment to have a guy like Patrick Mahomes his entire career. Now that they're together, it's just hard to beat them.
Yeah. Speaking of Michael Vick, interestingly enough, I wanted to ask you about, because you've played in the Super Bowl after the 2004 season in which they beat my Atlanta Falcons that year, which Michael Vick was the quarterback. Talk about like the preparation as a player. You just talked about it for the coach and how they game plan. What do you do as a player? Do you kind of just stick to what got you there? Do you, because it really just another game, right? Or do you just kind of switch up some little things? How do you go about that?
No, I think as a player you're a creature of habit, right? And you stick to the things that got you there. This is not the game that you want to start trying new things, right? I tell my family all the time, listen, I don't want you to start trying new recipes on Thanksgiving, right? Don't start trying new recipes in this game. There's a reason why you're here. Stick to those things and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Speaking of the game, maybe are there torn loyalties? It seems like you're still close with Coach Reid, but obviously you're an Eagles legend. Who do you hope wins and who do you think wins?
I hope that the Eagles win, and I think they will win. I think they will, do what they've done all season long. Be consistent, run the football very well. They'll get Jalen out on the edge. He'll run the ball a little bit. Defensively, they'll get turnovers. And how do you beat the Kansas City Chiefs? You keep the ball out of their hands, you win the time of possession, and you create turnovers. They will turn the ball over. And the Eagles have done a really good job of that over the last season. And so if they can do that, then I think they have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, throughout the playoff run, multiple turnovers every single week. I'm a Commanders fan. I'm a desperate Washington fan, and that was the difference. I mean, 3 turnovers, right?
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
I read a stat, and it's hard for me to even believe it's true. Over the last 6 games, the Eagles have forced 21 turnovers. I mean, that's how you win
And they're
football.
not turning it over.
You don't turn the football over. You control the clock. You run the ball efficiently. You score when you're in the red zone, and you create turnovers on the defense. That's how you win games. That's what they're going to need to do to win the Super Bowl.
Right. Now, as a former running back, you're seeing these guys like Saquon, like Derrick Henry have these, 2,000-yard seasons and whatnot, but it's still considered a passing league right now. We talked about it earlier, you being the pass-catching running back, being able to do that out the backfield like you were. If it was like how it is today, back when you played, how many 100 reception seasons could you have had? Possibly.
A bunch. Yeah. and the biggest part, because Andy Reid, this is the funny thing about Andy Reid, he has hard practices. So we spend a lot of time on the practice field. Now these guys don't practice anymore, right? And so I would have had a longer career, and I would have had a bunch more catches because of the way that things work. But that's the way
Put you in the slot
right?
a little bit.
Yeah, things a little bit different. So
let's turn it over to the other side of the ball then. What do you think? Because the Eagles' defensive line is so good. They're so good defensively up and down, but especially that front 7. What does Andy need to do with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco to try to get them loose against Philly?
Well, Andy just does a great job of keeping a defense off balance, right? So they're running in situations where you typically wouldn't run. They're putting your defense. I mean, everyone's pinning their ears back trying to get after, Patrick Mahomes. So what Andy's going to do is he's going to throw some screens in there to kind of slow your defensive line down. He's going to chip. He's going to get a lot of guys involved in blocking Jalen Carter. That's what he's going to need to do so that he's not disruptive. Because if Jalen Carter gets free, he can disrupt Patrick Mahomes because it's right in your quarterback's face. And so he's going to get a lot of hands on Jalen Carter. see what they can do to handle that. But I think they're going to use a running back just a bit, use them on screen, make the defensive lineman think first before they can rush. If you can do that, now you can use your running backs in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and speaking of using running backs in a lot of different ways, a big reason the Eagles are in this Super Bowl right now is because of Saquon Barkley. Just won Offensive Player of the Year. Brian, what was your thoughts when you first found out Saquon Barkley would be a Philadelphia Eagle? Did you see them being at this point?
Well, I didn't see them being. I didn't see a 2,000-yard season.
Yeah,
I knew you're combining him with a very talented offensive line. What I didn't realize was going to happen was that Saquon was going to make A.J. Brown an All-Pro, Devontae Smith a Pro Bowler, Dallas Goedert Pro Bowler type of talent, Jalen Hurts obviously a Pro Bowler. Make those guys almost insignificant. They're an afterthought, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about great
yes,
great
especially
players,
A.J. Brown.
And they're an afterthought. That's how good Saquon Barkley has been.
Yeah.
He is the man. Great combination. I mean, he reminds me of Bo Jackson. Speed, quickness, long speed. He can make people miss, catch the ball out of the backfield. If you're building a running back, this is the one that you build.
This is what
you build Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's also, we were talking with Andrew Whitworth yesterday about it. Like, some people say, well, Saquon's got that offensive line, but Saquon makes the offensive line better as well, right? I mean, like in terms of a running back, right? It's a symbiotic relationship.
That's right. They have to work together. Now the offensive line has been special. He's not getting touched. It looks like till he's 4 or 5 yards down the field. So they've been super special. But definitely Saquon is a big part of that. And this is the thing. I tell my kids all the time, you're the best speller, you're the best math guy. And sometimes they're not. I just tell them that so they can start believing it.
Yeah, right.
But when you start breaking off runs like that, now it's the same type of thing. Now the offensive line starts to believe that they're the best offensive line in the league, and they block differently.
Yeah.
They block harder, they block more. And this offensive line throughout the year, you put in Cam Jurgens, take Jason Kelce out, a Hall of Famer, and it's just as good, and if not better. The one thing that Saquon also has brought this year, Miles Sanders was a good running back. DeAndre Swift was a good running back.
Right.
Saquon has made those guys look like they were in JV, and he was in the pros. Right? That's how much better Saquon has been. I mean, that's how much he's added to this team as well.
It's been a match made in heaven. And the other thing is listen, I'm a Commanders fan. I don't like the Eagles. You guys are a division rival, but Saquon has universal approval rating. There's no one that doesn't like Saquon. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and every time I come out of the interview, it's like, that guy's awesome.
He's just a great dude.
He's just a great dude, top to bottom.
The one thing that I always said about Saquon this year was that he has one fatal flaw. He's too nice. He's just too nice. He should have broke Eric Dickerson's
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. If you were him, if you were Saquon Barkley, like Saquon says, like, I'm good.
But
if you had a chance, Brian, one game left, and you could break Eric Dickerson's record, what's your reaction if Coach comes to you and says, like, hey, we got to sit you down?
It would have been a no-brainer. We would have had a problem. We would have had a problem. Because, listen, it was special what he was doing. But it meant something to the offensive coordinator, the head coach. I thought it would.
To the line.
But it means a lot to the offensive line. It means a lot to these wide receivers are running down full speed, blocking. I mean, that's because they care. That's because it means something. I would have went after the dog on record. I wouldn't have thought about it. I could have separated playing and trying to win a Super Bowl and trying to stay healthy. I think you have to separate those two things. You go and play. You're a football player. That's what you do. You go play football. And I truly believe, you think about that last game, he would have broke the record in the first half. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right, because the frequency at which he breaks these long runs, he could have done it in
two long runs. He's there. He's done.
Right. This is what I want to ask you. Because it's 17 games now, and people would have said, well, he did it in 17 games, but he would have did it in less carries.
Less
than
total
Eric
carries.
Dickerson. So how would you have seen the legitimacy of it?
The season is the season, right?
The season is the season.
The numbers are the numbers. Now, we can break them down a little bit further, and that takes a little bit more digging, but he broke it in the season, and that's the way I would look at it. There's always going to be more games. There are a lot of records from back when they only played 12. I mean, it's just reality.
Jim Brown records.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, I've been asked about that a few times and when people interview me, and I'm just sort of like, I don't think that would have worked with any other player other than Saquon Barkley. It was the perfect person, because most people would want to say, like, no, man, I got a chance at immortality.
That's right.
Yeah. Give me a chance to reach immortality. Like, since I was a little kid, this is what you dream of.
That's
I want to be in an NFL record book, man.
Right.
I want somebody to be able to open up a book in 20 years and say, you were the best to ever do this.
That's right.
And so, but Saquon, being as selfless as he is, was nice. like whatever coach wants, I'm good.
I want to win, but that record would have been nice to have as well.
1,000%. Hey, Brian, talk to me about Chewy and your partnership with them.
Yeah, Chewy's the #1 online retailer of dog food, right? And that's what I got 3 dogs, I got 10 horses. I'm a big into the feed. I'm their #1 customer, clearly. But and we kind of understand what they do, right? They send out feed on time. They're going to get your dogs fed, your animals fed with quality food, right? But when they came to me, the most important thing to me was that in this partnership was that they were giving back. Right. They're going to donate 59,000 pounds of food to the KC Pet Project as well as the Pennsylvania SPCA. They're taking care of the animals. So not only are they just great in what they do, they also give back, and that's why I decided to partner with them. That's why it means so much to me as well.
Well, and they're always a big presence at the National Dog Show that we air on NBC as well.
Yes,
so
of course.
We always love to see Chewy around. Listen, Brian, I hope you're sad on Sunday because I don't want the Eagles, who destroyed my Commanders in the championship game, destroyed. But listen, you're always a delight. Again, fantasy managers around the world, I know they give you crap about that one play, but you won a lot of titles for a lot of people over a lot of yards. Thank you for that,
Thank you very much, guys.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks. Danny Amendola played 13 NFL seasons and is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. 8th most receiving yards. 8th most receptions and receiving yards in Super Bowl history. Just 3 games. It's pretty impressive as well. You're tied for the 5th most receiving yards in a single Super Bowl. Of course, that was against Philadelphia when you had 152. You're here thanks to our friends at Olipop. Thanks so much, Danny, for stopping by for a few minutes.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about this game on Sunday. You've obviously been here. You've played in the biggest moments.
Yeah.
What needs to happen for the let's start with the Eagles side of the ball. What needs to happen for the Eagles to win this Super Bowl?
I mean, they got to control the clock. I mean, they can't turn the ball over, and Saquon's got to eat. So, I feel like they've got a lot of momentum going into this game with him, and he's had a great playoff run so far. It's hard to root against Saquon Barkley for sure, but he's a great player, man. They got to give him the ball.
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn on the other side here because I think this is something that you really have insight into. Because the Eagles, yes, they won the one time, but they're considered the underdog. They're scrappy. Here's the Chiefs going for a three-peat.
Yeah.
Much like the Patriot teams that you were on, you guys are the top dog. Everyone in the league is looking at you guys, and so the threat of trying to repeat, of trying to get back. So talk to me about the pressure that's on the Chiefs this week.
That's the good thing about playing, good football in the playoffs, and especially if you're coming off a Super Bowl win or you played in the Super Bowl the year before, is you're getting every other team's best shot every week. And you really got to raise your level of play, and that gets you better, as a whole. So, the Chiefs, they're coming in possible three-peat. They're getting every other team's best shot every week, and they're getting better every. So it's hard to go against the Chiefs. I think they're gonna win it, but it's gonna be a good game. Obviously, they're gonna get the Eagles' best shot. So we'll see.
Well, so you said that you think the Chiefs win this game. Now, as a guy who played a lot of football with Tom Brady, right? Where are you at here on this Tom Brady versus Mahomes, the GOAT debate, right? And does that change for you if they can complete this three-peat? Because that's one thing, because Tom Brady done did a lot,
right?
But that's one thing that he hasn't done.
Right.
So, and you talked about it earlier, Patrick Mahomes is going to step up in the big moments. So where are you at in that GOAT debate, being Tom Brady's former teammate?
Right. Patrick, obviously is an amazing talent, and I think time will tell. It's too early for the GOAT talk, I think, right now, but I mean, he's well on his way to being one of the best ever. I think winning this game, the three-peat game, will cement his name into that talk, into that category. But we're going to be able to debate this for the rest of our lives, and I'm looking forward to it. So, dude.
Yeah, I think you make a good point here. I got asked this thing, and someone was trying to argue Mahomes. I was on Kansas City radio,
right?
And they said to me, like, if Mahomes wins this, right, he's the GOAT. And I said, listen, if he doesn't throw another pass in the NFL, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question, right? I said, but he's doing this all under the age of 30.
Right.
Tom won him in his 20s, and he won him in his 40s.
Right, yeah.
Talk to me when Mahomes wins one in his 40s.
Right.
He won one with Belichick. He won one without Belichick. He won it for 2 different teams. He won it with wide receivers like you, and he won it with speedsters. You know, like he didn't. Yes, he had Gronk for some of it, but like he won it with different personnels and different offenses.
Right.
Like I feel like the Chiefs he's always had Andy Reid. He's always had Kelsey. Again, I'm not trying to take away Mahomes' greatness, because he's brilliant. But like I just feel like there's a larger body of work for Tom.
Right, and it's kind of like, if you think about it, the early success of Tiger Woods too. Kind of like with all his championships that he won, and then he hit an injury off the course, right, and then his career has been kind of, it hadn't been what we thought it was going to be when he was winning all these championships growing up. So time will tell, you know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of time. Patrick's going to play for another 6, 7. I mean,
probably
he can play for more than that, really.
Yeah. 10 years.
10 more years. Yeah. Can you imagine Patrick Mahomes playing for 10 more years?
That's a lot of numbers to
and he's had a lot of success, obviously, early. So time will tell. I've known Patrick. He went to Texas Tech, so he and I went to the same school, and I've been rooting for him. He did a lot of great things for our university, and I'll always be in his corner. So I'm always going to be rooting for him. But
I was going to say my other argument. Maybe this isn't fair, but one of my other arguments for Tom versus Patrick, and again, it's probably not fair to Patrick, is that Patrick, Patrick's a better athlete,
right?
Just in terms of what God gave you, you know what I mean? Like, a first-round pick versus a 6th-round pick, and not that what Patrick hasn't done is brilliant, hasn't worked his ass off to get to where he is, but Tom doesn't have a cannon for an arm the way that Patrick does. Patrick was just born with this rifle, and so. I feel like Tom's actually,
and Tom don't run. He don't run around.
He doesn't have the speed that Mahomes does. Not even early in his career, he never did. Like he was never, that kind of athlete. So I sort of feel like Tom's overcome more, if that makes any sense.
Right.
They're both brilliant, and it's a fun debate.
We'll see, man. Time will tell.
One will have for a long time. Let's talk about you a little bit, Danny. You was on Dancing with the Stars one time.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So. What was that like, and do you use your ability and athleticism as a football player to implement that into that?
It was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Definitely outside the box for me, being a football player first, and then trying to go into this, into the dance world. But it was awesome, dude. I had a great partner. It's something that I could carry with me for my entire life. I learned so much about the art form of dance, every genre you could think of. For me, as a football player, the steps came natural. So remembering every steps, because all the footwork drills that we did, but the frame and the posture and everything else that comes, the musicality of learning. When to look and how to operate your body. The little nuances of dance was something that I had to learn, and watching pros like, Gleb and Max and all these guys that can get out and they're the pros is awesome to watch. And I learned a lot from it. So it was an amazing experience.
Speaking of entertainment and amazing experiences, what was your favorite joke from the Brady roast?
Oh my gosh,
there was a lot of them.
There was a lot of them, man. I mean, I think Gronk got a lot of them, but then he got up and got to get them back. It was Nikki Glazier killed it.
She crushed.
Tony Hinchcliffe killed it. It was awesome to watch. Jules killed it. And then my favorit part was I was backstage, and Will Ferrell came in and dapped me up as Ron Burgundy. So I got to sit in, and I was freaking out because it was Ron Burgundy.
Was you starstruck?
Dude, I was starstruck.
Of course.
I was starstruck.
Did you know he was coming?
No, nobody had any idea. And he came in, and we were all chilling backstage watching the monitor, about to go on stage, and he walks in and he kind of gave me a fist bump. I'm like, dude, I can't believe Ron Burgundy just dapped me up. Unbelievable.
I mean, it's such an iconic character. He's so good.
He's so good.
Yeah, and
he's so good.
And he just crushed it as well.
Yeah.
I thought the Brady roast was hilarious. I'm glad I'm not Tom.
Right.
That was
we gonna have one on you one day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely.
And you know I'll be there.
I know you will. I will. My
100%.
only shame, I feel, Dan, tell me if you're like I am, which is my only regret about the Brady roast is that it happened before the public knew about Bill's girlfriend.
Right, yeah. That would have been good. That would have been good ammo.
Can you imagine?
That would have been good ammo.
Would have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, talk to me about Omnipop and your partnership with them. What's going on there?
Olipop.
Olipop. I'm sorry.
Olipop.
That's
No,
my bad.
It's 35 calories in every can.
Okay.
My favorite's vintage cola. They have 15 plus different flavors. You can find it at Whole Foods. You can find it at Target. 50,000 different contributors to this drink. It's amazing. It's good for digestive health. It's a prebiotic, so it's something that you don't have any guilt drinking, and it's good for you. It's good for gut health.
Yeah.
It's a healthy cola, and it's it's awesome tasting. So it's great.
Yeah, I mean I drink, as my co-host knows,
Right,
I drink a tremendous amount of diet soda. So I need to check this out.
It's good, man. You gotta check it out. Olipop. You can find it at Whole Foods, Target. It's a healthy Coke.
I see you say non-GMO on the side too. I peeped that. Yeah.
There we go.
Non-GMO. That's incredible. Hey, Kroger, Target, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Safeway, and online at drinkolipop.com. Two-time Super Bowl champion Danny Amendola. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you all.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, back on the set of the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Jay Crouch and Matthew Berry, joined by UFC legend Dustin Poirier. Thanks for coming.
The Diamond?
Yeah, absolutely. How's the week going?
Smooth, man.
I know
Fine.
you're from here, from Lafayette, right?
Yeah. I'm from about 2 hours north of here.
Okay.
But I was just here like a week ago. My daughter had a cheer competition at the convention center, so I was just in New Orleans.
Okay. Is it fun, kind of the kind of atmosphere of everyone coming into the city and kind of being able to show off, this area kind of around near where you grew up?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, having that Super Bowl here is obviously a huge deal for the city and the state, but just to allow people to experience the culture here, the food, the French Quarter. New Orleans is such an amazing city. The vibe out here, it's like you step into a time machine and you're like in a different place when you go out there in the French Quarter.
I was chatting to someone about this last night. Like, I'm Australian, and so for me as an Australian, like New Orleans is like maybe the most unique city in all of America. Like, there's no city that is like this out here. There's other big cities, but New Orleans is very special and a great place to have a Super Bowl.
For sure, man. Great food, great music, good people. It's always a good time.
New Orleans is known for, Bourbon Street and some Mardi Gras craziness as well. You defeated Conor McGregor twice, who I think is crazy. Talk to me a little bit about those fights, facing Conor as well, and what's the key to beating crazy?
Being crazy. You can't out-crazy me, bro. I fought him 3 times. The first time was in 2014 in Vegas. Yeah. He beat me. Then I had to wait 7 years to get my lick back. You know? So I fought him in 21 for the second time, and then I fought him twice in 21 in Abu Dhabi, and then we fought in Vegas the third time. But just being a student of the game, working on my craft, trying to learn from lessons. But facing a guy like that, it's like it's mental. It's not only the physical; it's a mental warfare with guys like that, man.
Yeah, it's just the build-up to a fight against McGregor so much different because of just all the buzz around it and the hype.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of probably the biggest star the sport's ever seen.
Yeah.
So things feel different. Press conferences feel different. The media rounds leading up to fight week feel different. It's a whole different thing when you fight a guy like that. And not only just from the ask of media and promotion, just getting up on stage and doing video interviews with a guy who's talking trash and just a wordsmith. He's slick. He gets under your skin,
Yeah, absolutely. So
but talk about that because it's interesting. So because the spectacle around, one of your guys' fight is similar to, I don't know, a Super Bowl, right? I mean, again, like you got the press and the media requests and all the promoters and this sponsor and that sponsor and oh, by the way, everyone, hey, can you get me tickets? Oh, my brother's wife needs tickets and blah blah. And all of a sudden, like it's just so many demands that you don't think about. If you were talking to the Eagles or the Chiefs, what would you say about being able to shut out all the noise the way you did to defeat McGregor twice about this kind of week, the craziness of this week?
These guys who are playing Sunday have done this their whole life and been in these kind of positions. They know how to flip that switch. They know how to get into tunnel vision. There's nothing I can say. These guys are in the Super Bowl. They've done everything they have to do. They know how to do it. Just sticking to the self-belief. But the good thing for these guys, it's not like a hometown thing. Of course, Super Bowl is so big, everybody's flying in. But the thing with people asking for things are like, if I'm fighting New Orleans, last time I fought here was 11 years ago at the Smoothie King Center. UFC hasn't been back since then. When you fight at home, that's when the phone doesn't stop ringing. You know, when you're flying across the country fighting, maybe you might get a few texts here and there, but fighting at home is when the phone really rings.
Yeah. So when you have fought, do you feel like as soon as the fight starts, it's just back to normal and everything kind of natural adrenaline takes over, or does it feel different because you are at home?
In the actual fight?
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing as I could be in the Middle East, I could be in Vegas, I could be at home. Once that bell rings, there's not a whole lot of thinking about the outside, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we know you're a big football fan. You're also a big LSU fan as well. I am a crazy Washington Commanders fan, and one of my secret powers, one of my superpowers is that I can make any interview somehow about me.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm going to do right here as well. I, of course, love Jaden Daniels, but you've been a fan before I am. Talk to me a little bit about Jaden Daniels, both from LSU and then what you saw this year in the pros.
Incredible. But just to see the quarterbacks that LSU's putting out, Burrow, Daniels, it's awesome. Dude, honestly, this is off subject, but I was rooting for Allen, man. I wanted the Buffalo Bills to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
You know, but they're incredible. They have an incredible staff over there at LSU. I got to, the last year Burrow was there when they won the championship. I got to tour the locker room and the field, and I got to meet him there in his last year. So that was a pretty cool thing. LSU reached out and brought me over.
Awesome. So I know, cool. Dustin, you're a big Saints fan.
Oh, yeah.
Who kind of some of your favorite players, past and present?
My whole life. I actually just walked by Drew Brees over there. I mean,
and you met him before?
No, I got to sign football. I sent him something, he sent me something back, but I never met him in person, and I didn't want to bother him when I walked by just now. But I've been a Saints fan my whole life, so I've been brokenhearted most of my football memories. But man, when we won the Super Bowl after Katrina, it brought the whole state together. I mean, I saw grown men crying. It was so big for the state of Louisiana at that time. It was great, but we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. We need a head coach. We need a lot of things right now.
Who are you hoping for head? Kellen Moore, the coordinator of the Eagles, has been sort of rumored as kind of the guy that will be. Are you excited if it is Kellen Moore? Is there somebody else out there you want? What do you think?
There's nobody that I think that I like really, really want. I just want a healthy quarterback. I want Taysom Hill to be healthy. I want our receivers to be healthy. You know, because we have so many weapons. It's out of sync.
Hopefully Olave can stay healthy for a full year. He's obviously dealt with some concussion issues. So, there's a lot of talent on the team. Just feels like it hasn't clicked. Tell you what, though, the team this year, I think they scored on the first 16 drives of the season, and it looked like they were going to be, division winners, competing, and then
we started 2-0, 3-0, and it just kind of started getting rocky. And when we brought Carr over, I was skeptical, but I was hopeful. I was like, maybe this guy can pull this together. This is our new guy. And then after, I was like, maybe he's not. Something about him. A great quarterback. It's just something about him. He's like, to me, every time the camera pans to him, he's complaining about something. You need good energy on the team, Yeah,
absolutely. Well, the NFL isn't exactly the UFC, but maybe the closest it gets to the UFC is Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans going at it. I know Lattimore's not on the Saints anymore, but did you get a kick out of watching that kind of rivalry in the division over the years?
For sure, man. Marshawn is crazy. Anytime I see a video, I don't even have to read the caption. I'm watching it because the stuff this guy says, the energy he brings, is awesome. But man, I actually got to do the draft for the Saints with Cam Jordan when we brought in Alontae Taylor. I think it was like the second round pick. I went to Vegas and got to do it. But we got a solid defense, man.
Absolutely. You've mentioned, by the way, that potentially plans for your last fight, maybe potentially here in New Orleans, might do that. Any thoughts on opponent? And by the way, can I get a couple of invites to whatever the party is afterwards?
For sure, you're invited to the party. I don't have any tickets for you. All right. I think I'm
just going to drop your name. I feel like that might get me in.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. On fight week, it might work. Yeah. I don't have any. I mean, I really wanted to fight Justin Gaethje. We're 1-1. I finished him. He beat me in Utah. I don't want to, because my next fight is most likely my last one. I'm gonna lay the gloves down, and to do it here in Louisiana, where it all started, would be incredible for me. I think it could happen. Nothing's done yet. But I think the summer, I know UFC's pushing for it. So the state of Louisiana, New Orleans, if everybody can get on board, I think the summer is likely.
Okay.
That'd be great. So I'll look forward to that.
Last one for you, Dustin. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl? I know you said you're cheering for the Bills and Josh Allen, but who do you think wins between the Eagles and Chiefs?
I'm going Eagles.
Okay.
I'm going Eagles. No particular reason. Well, I like the quarterback. I like the running back. And I just, with all due respect, I don't want to see. I had enough Taylor Swift talk and all that. Let's play football.
I have one last question for you. So I have a dad bod. I'm not a good athlete as well. But is there a UFC move that you could, is there like a MMA move that you could teach somebody like me? Like, is there like one, or is it just all like you have to actually be like a very good athlete? Is there like one simple move that you could teach? Like,
oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
All right, let's teach me. Will you teach me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, right now. Yeah. Hang on. I'm gonna unhook myself. I don't know. When do you get a chance to get a lesson from a UFC legend?
To get choked?
Yeah. By the way, if you choke me, Jay will be very happy. He wants to learn how to choke me for many times.
This is the move that anybody can do. You don't have to be an athlete to squeeze it back.
Let's go.
How do we do this? This is called a rear naked choke. So you face this way.
Rear naked choke. Rear naked choke.
My forearm, the blade of this bone on your neck.
Yep.
Go here to my bicep, hand behind your head, and I would squeeze my elbow to my shoulder.
I'm tapping out. That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Let's go step
Hold on.
So you hear?
Justin's
Right
getting
there, keep the blade on his neck.
Yep. This is
Reach
terrifying.
Your bicep.
Oh my God.
Fold this hand behind his head.
This feels like Dustin
Put it
Poirier.
behind.
Oh my God.
Put it behind his head.
Like that.
Push his head forward and pull your elbow.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good
one.
That's sleepy time.
Yeah, wow. All right.
Fantastic.
I'm glad that was Matthew Barry, not Dustin Poirier, doing that on me.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
he's my best friend now.
Yeah, okay. That was remarkable content. Terrifying content, but remarkable content.
The art of the choke.
Yeah.
The art of the choke. I'll never forget being around for that. Okay, there's no way to win that cleanly. Dustin Poirier, UFC legend, Louisiana legend. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the week out here, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me.
man. Appreciate you, brother. Back on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, Lawrence Jackson, Matthew Berry, with Fantasy Football royalty, Deebo Samuel, longtime friend of the show. You've been on the show many, many times.
Yes, sir.
And you brought a musical legend with you.
Yeah.
Seal is here as well. Congratulations. I know, Seal, you've got a Super Bowl commercial debuting, Mountain Dew. I want to get into that in a little bit. But, Deebo, let's start with you. Obviously not the season the Niners were hoping, but is there a positive that you can take away from last year?
Just the fact that we continue to go out there and fight every day. Due to injuries, you can say they played a part, but at the end of the day, like, you still got to find ways to win those games. But overall, like, the team never broke apart, and we look forward to attacking this offseason as hard as we can.
And with that being said, how consistently y'all have been in the mix as Super Bowl contenders, how do y'all get back to that point?
We just got to do what we did to get us there in the first place. I think this is my first year not making the playoffs.
Right.
In 2020, COVID year hit. Damn near our whole team was hurt, so we really didn't count that too much. But this first year not making it, it was kind of eye-opening to me, and was like, yo, like, this is not a good feeling. Like, I don't like starting off season early, just watching all the playoff games when you one of the teams that's always in it.
Exactly.
Seal, you've had such a long and illustrious career. Storied career. I like that better. Storied career. Deebo in the middle of a storied career. I'm still working on it. But one of the things you have done that people may not know is that you were a judge for The Voice in Australia. We're an NBC show. The Voice is an NBC show as well. So what's the key to being a good judge?
I considered myself more of a coach than a judge. I think you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a talent for it. You have to have the ability to empower people rather than trying to do their job for them. You basically have to be able to bring out the greatness in people and help them recognize that. But before we get into that, I got to say, man, I've been a fan of this guy since he was a Gamecock, right? I'm at Carolina. Like that breakout season that you had at 2016, I think it was.
Sir.
12 touchdowns overall, 6 rushing, 6 receiving.
He knows
780 odd yards total. You're amazing, and I'm a huge 49er fan.
Appreciate you.
So nothing better than
yes, sir.
Mountain Dew at the Super Bowl and standing next to this legend.
Oh, there's no question. That year in South Carolina, you were like, oh, he's different.
Oh,
he's different.
And we can't leave out the return yards too.
Come on now,
you did that. and you're starting to do it now.
Yeah, I tied the record at South Carolina with most kick returns.
Yeah. So, Seal, I actually was gonna ask you who your favorite team was, and you just told us.
How you not know this though?
No, you not.
Yeah. How long have you been a 49ers fan?
Well, when I first came to America, I became friends with the DeBartolos. They were fans, and so I used to go up and watch the games when it was still Candlestick. I used to go up and watch the games from the 50. Yeah. Then I became real good friends with Steve Young, my dear friend and legend, and I've been a fan ever since. And then but it's really easy to be a fan these days because you get to watch greatness every year.
Yeah. And by the way, like, you've seen some great teams over the years. Like if you got in back there when it was Candlestick and Steve, like, you've seen some great teams over the years of the 49ers. All right, I want to go back to the judging though, because my co-host Lawrence Jackson here said he wants to sing "Fly Like an Eagle" for you and have you judge it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Don't hurt yourself now.
I know. I won't do this.
So
go ahead.
I'm finna risk "Fly Like an Eagle." You seen Space Jam, right?
For sure. Go ahead. Let him
fly like an eagle.
Shoot your shot.
Hey, let me see if I got a career in this and not just football. I wanna fly like an eagle.
Don't hurt yourself now.
To the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I wanna fly.
Ooh. Easy.
Fly right into the future.
I wanna feed the baby.
All right. Hey, I ain't seen this since.
Scale of 1 to 10, Seal. What are we talking about here?
Don't hurt yourself.
Right. I just hurt myself.
Ask me one on football. Ask me another question.
Dang, Seal, you're going to do me like that.
No. I'm not going to do you like that.
No, so it's an 8. Okay, he said it's an 8.
It's all about the effort. It's all about effort.
Well, listen, Seal's talked about how much he likes being coached. There's a lot to coach there. You've got to. He'd have his work cut out.
I'm coachable.
It's in there. We can bring it out.
Well, we appreciate that. This is why Seal is universally beloved, because you are kind.
Yeah.
Because you are kind and generous. Deebo, let's talk about the Niners here for a second. What do you make of this offense going into next year? Because I think while obviously the season didn't go the way you wanted it to, and there were so many injuries, I think if there's a benefit to that, it's that we got to see Jawan Jennings get more run. We got to see Ricky Pearsall get more run. We saw Jordan Mason. Like, there were a lot of guys that hadn't gotten opportunities previously that suddenly kind of burst on the scene. Talk to me a little bit about how you're expecting the Niners offense to look next year.
It's all about, with the young guys that come in, you try to build them into Cal's offense with, how that goes. But I think Jacob Cowell and Ricky Parcell did an amazing job with all the opportunities they had with Jacob in the return game. Did an outstanding job and took advantage of every opportunity that he had coming in and play receiver. And the situation that Ricky dealt with and being able to come back from that and be able to show a lot of glimpse of what he's capable of and the things that he's going to be able to do in his league. And I tell him every day, like bro, you got the ability to be one of the best, because I see how you prepare, I see how you approach the game.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, Deebo, a lot of, you wore the A.J. Brown jersey this week. Obviously, that mean y'all cool, right? I don't care about they should be bad. It's like, whatever, right?
For sure.
What's you and A.J. Brown relationship and friendship like?
Man, so me and AJ friendship started back when he was at Ole Miss and I was at South Carolina. We played against each other, and we trained together for the combine, and ever since then, we just been locked in. So, talk probably twice a week.
Yeah,
and
so
it's just been a relationship that we done built on for sure.
Yeah.
So I know you're rooting for the Eagles to win. Who do you think wins?
I'm rooting for AJ and Saquon.
Fair enough. You think they win? Do you think they bring it home?
I think they win.
Seal, who you got?
Well, who have I got? Listen, all right. I think it's going to come down to two things in the big game. Obviously, it's just one game. It's the Super Bowl, so anything can happen, right? But historically, it's going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to your best players being great in the big moment, and it's going to come down to coaching. So I'm going to ask you a question. If you had to put the house on it, if your lives depended on it, who do you go with? Who do you go with to make that coaching decision in the moment, right? And who do you go with to be great in that moment?
Patrick Mahomes,
There
Andy
you go.
Reid. I'm picking.
Who
I'm picking the Chiefs.
who I want and who I believe is gonna win are two different things.
Indeed.
Yeah, I just in his career, Andy Reid, when he's had more than 1 week to prepare, has only lost once in the Mahomes era in the playoffs, and that was to Tom Brady. We love Jalen Hurts here. He's not Tom Brady yet. But we'll see. It's going to be a great game here. One of the things that will happen during the game is we are going to see your Super Bowl spot for Mountain Dew. Seal, talk to me a little bit about your partnership with Mountain Dew and how this commercial came about.
Well, it was just natural. Nothing better than Mountain Dew and the Super Bowl. It's historical, the presence that they've had here over the years. They came to me with this idea. And it was funny. It was an opportunity to bring humor to people. Yes, of course, I'm a recording artist, but at the very core of it, I'm an entertainer, and I think that quite often us, musicians, artists, we tend to forget that. But it is really about entertainment, and if you can make people laugh and put a smile on people's face, as the people at Mountain Dew Baja Blast did with this concept and this commercial, I jumped on it.
Yeah, I saw it. It debuted on the Today Show. I saw the commercial. I literally laughed out loud.
Well,
the first
my kids
time when
too,
you
they
see.
laughed out loud. My daughter called me up and she just said, "Dad," she couldn't believe it, but she was laughing. That's when I knew I was cool.
It's really funny. I won't ruin it for you, but definitely check out Seal in the Super Bowl spot. We appreciate both you and Deebo being here on behalf of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Hope you guys have a great week. Continued success to both you guys. Hope you guys have a blast as well. Thank you, Deebo and Seal. When we are back, last call. We'll be back right after this.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and all customers can get their Super Bowl 59 touchdown bet matched as a bonus bet. Download the app and use promo code Barry when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
The crowd is yours! The crowd is yours.
Strong finish here, fellas. It's time. A little last call action. Looking at the Gatorade color props. Yes, a popular prop market every single year. Of course, the Gatorade that'll be poured on the winning head coach. Jay, you have a lean on this one?
I do. have a strong lean, actually. A note came across my desk last night saying that the color will be green. So take that for what it's worth, but I believe that the color will be green. Plus
Interesting.
250.
I was gonna
I'm not gonna go against that.
I'm not either. I was about to say, give me red at plus 245. I mean, Taylor Swift's in the house.
Sure.
Chiefs are red. I think the Chiefs win. But I prefer.
might be wrong.
I'll put a
Might
few
be
bucks
wrong.
on green.
Does it depend on what team wins?
I've heard both teams are green. Eagles are green colored naturally, and I think that they've just decided to go green. That's what I've heard. Could be wrong. Take it with a grain of salt.
Could be wrong. Don't forget, Jay lost a lot of money on DeMar Hamlin when he come back player of the year last year.
People have forgotten that.
People have forgotten that.
Good
and they
awards
shouldn't.
night?
But it was a good awards night for you last night, Jay Croucher.
Yes, a redemption tour. I am perhaps the comeback player of the year.
Yeah. Yes.
Last year, let me tell you, when we were doing this show last year on the Friday after NFL Honors, after I'd had 1 hour's sleep, drinking away the sorrows of Joe Flacco when he comeback player of the year, arriving on set to see Rob Riggle wearing a SWAT outfit dressed in Kevlar. It might have been the worst morning of my life, but it was. This is a good morning because Patrick Surtain gets home, Kevin O'Connell, the great Kevin O'Connell, gets to the show. He gets home as well. Your man Jaden Daniels, no suspense there, Matthew. He wins O'Roy.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I personally thought Dan Quinn should win Coach of the Year, but I'm not surprised that KOC won, and obviously he has a great candidacy as well. I think the only surprise here was Josh Allen being named MVP.
Yes.
It was close.
Yeah,
really
so
close.
Allen won 27 votes to 23 over Lamar. 9 different people decided that Lamar Jackson was the first team All-Pro over Allen, but then voted Josh Allen MVP, and that I will never understand.
That one's a weird one.
The rationale was that Lamar Jackson was the best quarterback this year, but Josh Allen was the most valuable, which I don't think makes any sense at all. But so be it. People can do what they want with their votes.
I suppose so, but I'd argue, and by the way, I don't think Jaden Daniels should have won MVP.
Yeah.
But if you're arguing most valuable, I mean, Jaden Daniels elevated his team in a way that I
would have had him fourth.
Commanders don't have the talent that some of those other teams do.
Yep.
Is my argument. But again, I would have voted for I would not have voted for Jaden for MVP, as much as I love him.
Yeah, no, I think I would have voted him 4th or 5th. I think the top 3 was Lamar, Allen, Burrow, and then Daniels, Goff, Saquon, even Mahomes, who didn't feature at all despite going 15-2. I think those guys are all in a bit of a cluster.
Fun week on Radio Row, fellas. A lot of great guests.
Unbelievable.
A lot of fun moments.
A lot of fun moments.
Do you have a favorite moment?
Favorite moment? Might be just what happened here. What happened here when Lawrence Jackson sang for Seal.
And Seal jumped right in.
Yeah, and Seal jumped right in. That was actually that was pretty cool. It's been a great week. We've had a lot of fun at a lot of parties as well. Yep. Met a lot of celebrities, and it's been great fun. I continue to be incredibly grateful and proud to be at NBC and that we're here at Radio Row all week long. So thank you to everyone behind the scenes at Peacock and NBC, letting us be here and doing this. And thanks to all the guests that came through as well.
And we will be back, by the way, right after the Super Bowl. We will have a show recapping everything from the Super Bowl on Monday, so don't miss that as well. For Matthew, Jay, and myself here at Radio Row, thanks so much, everybody, for sticking with us all week. We'll talk to you soon.
All season long as well. We'll see you on Monday for Super Bowl recap. For Jay and Connor, Matthew, peace out. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.